So I solved myself first and then gave it to my kid. Okay, so um, try not to be too hypocrite. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, too much talking. So what I will do is write a C++ program to solve the problem the easy way and the little harder way, right? When you solve problems in engineering or any type of problem solving, you might have two ways to doing things. You got the easy way, the hard way. Well, the easy way is the way that you can get the results, right? Sometimes it's not the most proficient way, but it can get the job done, right? The hard way sometimes is better, but okay. So too much talking. Let's get it started, right? Right here we have that 2 plus 3 is equal to 13. Well, how? How that happen? Well, you can see that these are numbers that you can square them and play with it, right? So you just say 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 plus 9 is 13, and so forth. 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 16 plus 25 is 41, and so forth. Okay, easy, right? Let's write a little C++ program to do it the easy way and the more harder way, right? So that is the easy way, the hard way. Can you see something right here? Can you see something in these numbers? Can you recognize something you can pull out of it? And pull? Can you think about this? Okay, so you take this number first, right? So okay, so this is how you do it, right? So you add these two numbers. You add these two. That is 5. That is 5, right? Take the sum of these two numbers and multiply by 2. That is 10. Multiplying the sum of these two by 2 is 10. Plus 3 is 13. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. 36 plus 5 is 41, and so forth. Okay. Now let's do the C++ program to do this. And we will have to go to Visual Studio and we will create a new project. And we have a C++. We have a C++ already selected. We have not selected, but it's right here, right? And of course, we can pick up different templates, but we want to do an empty project. And of course, select the C++ right there, and we click next. And we said IQ problem to tutorial, right? Let's call this the easy way. The easy way. Okay, so we want to do the easy way first. Okay, create. Okay, so created a folder. We have not created a source yet, so let's create a source. Let's go to project. Let's go to add an item, and inside this add an item, we have when you click over here, we have a C Visual C++. We have .cpp file, and we want to add the source. Add. Now we have a source. We put this if this is the easy way to solve this problem. Okay, now that's just a comment, right? Now let's include the tools that we need for C++. And we put pound, we said include, and put a little brackets like that. Let's engraved bracket, and inside of that, we put something that like this. See, math, right? And okay, so this is called this type of things that we're doing right now. They're called directives. That you have a header file, you got an object, and so forth and so forth. I'm not gonna go through right now, right? But anyway, that's what it is. Now we will include another one. It's called include, include, and we do inside here. We do what? We do IO and IO header file. Nope. We do IO stream right there. And that is going to be allow me to output outside when I run the program to so you can you see it and I can see the numbers or whatever the computer tell us. We tell the computer to do. The computer is dumb machine, so it's programmed by human beings, and basically it's pretty dumb. Just tell the computer what to do, and it does it, right? Okay, let's get it done. Okay, so then we put int, and then we put main. The C++ programs always get this, right? But before that, we have to do something right here. That is called using, oops, using name space and std, go for standard output, input and output, whatever. Right. Now, inside this, okay, so inside this, I put a bracket. This is what the program is going to be. When you write an essay, you put an introduction, you put a body. Inside the body, you put, right, whatever you need to do with the essay. That's the body. On the bottom, you put a conclusion, right? Conclusion, a similar situation. Okay, so this is the body, right? Let's get started. So right here, we have to declare. You can put a comment if you want to. Declare objects. Why object? Because C++ is an object-oriented program. Okay, now let's get started. All right, so let's declare some variables of objects, whatever you want to call it. Normally, objects are pieces that will contain something, right, in a program, hold a value, so forth. Let's get started. Okay, so remember that in the problem, if I can bring that, we have 2 and 3 and so forth. So we need two variables. Yes, two variables at minimum. Actually, 3. And I will explain why, but anyway. So let's put let's put int for integer in a for the first, and that make that is equal to 0. Sometimes you gotta do this in C++ and put int b, and let's make that equal to 0, which is I am assigning that to 0. That's what it is, right? Not equal, but assigning. That value is assigned to 0 at the moment. It's going to change later on, but at the moment it's going to be 0. Okay. And let's go to int, another one. Let's call this a C. Don't assign that at the moment to nothing yet. Right. Remember that assign and equal is totally different in C++. Equal has two equal sign, and assign a value to a variable is only one equal sign. Okay, let's get started. So let's make this little quick. Okay, so let's make a formula. And the formula is going to output something, but we have to make it more interesting, right? So we have to make it interesting so that the user will enter a value. It will say right here, prompt the user. Okay. And we just do it like this. So we put C, right? Okay, so, okay, well, let's go to C out first. C out. And then we do like this. But inside this, we can put whatever. We can put C out, or C out, and then inside those brackets, we put a string value. And that string is going to be just letters, right? So we just enter the value, the value of A, and I put another one and put n outline, right? Semicolon, right? Then copy that, and y should be writing the same thing if it's going to be the same thing, right? So just change a little thing right here and be done with it. The okay, inside right here, I put, so this is telling the user enter this, and the computer take a step-by-step instruction. That's what I'm doing. Enter this, right? The computer saying, okay, so you're telling me to tell the user to enter this value. Now, what are those values, right? What are you trying to say? So then I say cint, and I said this, right? So I said cint a, and then I said cint v, semicolon, Okay, so remember when you do greater than, less than, C out, greater than, C in. Okay, then we do the formula with the C and then equal. I am assigning a value. What I'm going to assign? I am going to assign the value of A, right? But remember, we squared, so we say POW or power for a bracket. Inside the bracket, I put the value. I put variable V, and I put a comma, and I put a 2 in there. And I said loss, and I said POW again, and I said A, oops, and I say V, comma, 2. Remember that this was supposed to be A. I guess the order doesn't matter, but it's good to be consistent. A, right? So now I have the 2, right? So what he's saying is square A, get a value, and then plus V squared and sum of those 2. That's what that's saying. Okay, so now just do this. So C out right here, and I said like this, right? And then and I put C. Oh, no, just C, regular, not a capital. And I said in a line, right? And, and of course, right here, I said return. And I said, oh, 0. And I put a semicolon on it. Okay. So, so let's see. Let's run this. See what we get. So let's run. Okay. So now it says enter the value of A and B, right? So the first one was 2. The second one was 3. And the answer is 13. Okay. So we got that. Right. Now, remember that we have how many values we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we have 4, right? So you want to output the 4 then. I mean, that's probably the other way to do it, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, copy and paste this few times, right? And you can assign a value of D in this one, right? So int D and then int E, whatever, right? And whatever, int H, whatever, or G. Who cares, right? It's just a variable. G. Or int F. Why not? Why not? Int F. Why not? Now, to take this and change it and do it 4 times, 3 more times. Hold on a second. I got it. 1, 2, 3 more times. So we do like this. Oops. Copy. Then you do paste and change that to D, and then, and then, and then do it again. And then right here, change that to D, and so forth. And then right here, we change that to E, right? So E, and we change the value of E, and we change the value of E, right? So right here, I don't know if I change it, but I don't think I did. So did I do that? E, the first one, the second one, yes, I changed that. Okay, so this one was supposed to be actually D, right? Actually, no. It was E. This was E. This was E, and this right here, this one right here was, so this was C, right? This was E. Then this one should be F, should be F, and that should be F, right? So let's try those first. Okay, so let's try those. Okay, so we have an error. Let's see where we have an error at. Okay, so D, line 28. This is supposed to be E. Okay, so enter, 3, enter, 5, enter. What's the next value? I think it was 9, right? Next value is 6 and 7. 6, 7, and then, okay, so after those three, it's good, right? So now, what will be the last one, right? So, okay, so let's call the other one, let's call it whatever. We'll call it, I don't know. Let's call it, let's call it, let's call it G. Okay, so now let's take this. Copy that. And let's do this. And let's call it this G. And let's call it this G, right? So, okay, so let's do 4, right? So 4. I'm sorry, that's 3. And then let's go 4, and then 5, and then 6, 7, and then I think it's what the next one is 8 and 9 or whatever. 8 and 9. 8, 9, right? 145. And that is exactly the answer should be. The last number should be 145. Okay, so that's the easy way, right? That's the easy way, right? Not really hard in C++ either, right? So now let's do it the most, um, kind of, I would say, more interesting way in C++. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so the same thing. I'm going to clear, going to kind of just, I'm going just to copy not everything, just the main, basically. So let me create another project, and I create new project, and then what I can do right here is the hard way, the hard way, create. Okay, now, and then we add a source again, add an item, and then we do a C++, add, and we copy that just because the libraries and everything is going to be the same. Just what was going to change is this right here. So this is going to be the same. This, the int is going to be the same. I might change the variables a little bit, but the input and the output is going to be the same. So input and output is going to be the same. So what I will do, just keep this, keep one of this. So keep one. Keep, let's see, up to there and erase all this to there, delete. Okay, so now I'm going to change just the name of the variables. Um, and this one, I just want to let you know that this one you don't have to do it like this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do V, you can space and then V. Of course, but you gotta have a comma inside that, right? And then equal, and then you can put that as 0, right? And then you can delete this. So A and B is declared 0 right now. Same thing now, and I have a C, right? So what I'm going to change this to a D, D, and that D is going to be equal to 0. Now, right here, I'm going to name this C, C underscore 1, right? And then C underscore 2, C, right? C underscore 2, and so forth. C underscore 3, and C. Right. So all of those are going to be equal to that, right? Now I gotta put D. I got a D, right? D, and then I get put D underscore 1, and then I can say int D underscore 2. Okay, so now what I can do is to try to eliminate the problem on declaration. I can put every single one assigned to 0. I am just assigning it to 0, 0, and 0, and 0, and also 0. And again, those zeros will be override when you enter the values, but that's not the case at the moment. Right. So I want to go ahead and delete this because this formula, I don't need it. I don't need this. And probably I don't need this at the moment, but whatever. Okay, so because this is an error right here, so it's giving an error. But anyway, it's because there's no C on the top over there. Okay, so let's get this done. Okay, so first of all, we need to be logical on this, a little bit logical, right? So we enter the data and we say CN and CN, whatever, right? We got this too. We have to be careful because we have to write an if statement right here, and we can say the following. So we can say if, right? Because we have to be with a little logic, right? So if A is greater than 2, greater than 2, n, n, V is greater than, oops, is greater than 3, if A is greater than 2, B is greater than 3, greater or equal to, you can say, even better, okay, greater or equal to, greater or equal to 3, if that is the case, so, and that is like that. Now, with that being said, that means that we have to add a bracket here, a regular bracket, and inside this bracket, we have to put some type of formula, right? Some type of the program to tell what to do. And we have a D right there, right? Regular D. So D, in this case, is going to be equal to the sum of A, okay, of A plus B, right? So that is the first, I would say, little formula that we wrote, right? If this is the case, if the value of A is greater than 2 and the value of B is greater than 3, then sum A plus B and assign the value to a variable D. That's what we say. Okay, next, we check, right? We need to check if the values are entered or even or odd, right? That's the next one. Let me just write this because this is okay, not even helping anything. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe just come on. Okay. Just a comment on it. Just put a comment. All right. Okay, so now, so let's let's do this. Put another if statement there. Let's go. This if statement is going to be a little different. Okay, so we saying that if, if, right? If A, if A, and this is where we get a little logical. If B, if B cannot equal, nope, if B cannot equal what? Not equal 0, which means if B cannot equal 0, which means that B will not be an even number. I want to say B can be anything else but not an even number. That's what I'm trying to say here. But before that, I have to write mod. I have to write percent sign, which is mod 2. Mod 2. Modulus 2 cannot equal 0. Then add this, right? Then add D plus D equal to A plus B. Okay. And then D1, D underscore 1 equaled A plus B, right? So then what else? Then we have to say, okay, so what's going on here, right? So we have different situations. Then we have D2 is also D underscore 2 equal to also A plus B, right? When you get this done, then we go on with the other value. We go into C1, right? Z as in Zulu, 1 equal what? Equal to something. We need to reassign this value. We need to reassign this value. And why are we doing this, right? That's a good question. We're doing this because we need to reassign these values not to create any conflicts in the program. Okay, so if we make Z1 is equal to D, right? This regular D right here, and put a semicolon on. Then we put Z underscore 2, and that is going to be equal to D, the previous one, to D underscore 1, right? And then and then and of course you're not gonna forget a semicolon because you get little errors. And then you get C3 Z underscore 3, and that is going to be equal to D2, right? D underscore 2, D underscore 2. And we do that, okay? So now, so that's the first one, right? That's the first one. Because V, right? So now that's the value of V. If V is not, it's not a even number, then do this, right? If not an even, of course, will not be an even number because we start with the I number. Now we take this little thing like this similarly, and we say that this is if A right now I to mod 2 minus 2. Now I put equal, 0, which means that it's an even. Now, if that is even, right, then I put a little bracket, and I have to execute a little piece of code that I will put inside the bracket. And that is going to be z underscore 1 equal what? Equaled d, and then z, oops, and then z, and then z underscore 2 equal d, same thing, d1, right? Is equal to d underscore 1, and so forth, and then z underscore 3 equal d2, d underscore 2, and so forth, right? So now that is the statement, but we have to be careful here. The reason why we have to be careful is because of the following. So we have to write the formula, right? We need to write the formula. All this. And we have to say that, I mean, we have to say that we have to say that z underscore 1 equal a formula, that's going to be here. So it's going to be equal to the value of a, right? Remember, we did that times v, times the value of v, right? Plus, no, the value of a times the value of d. Why? What is d? D is the sum of these two. See that? D is the sum of these two. Remember, we did that when we did the harder way. D is the sum of those two. So A is getting multiplied for that. Right? For the first value of 2 is going to be multiplied by the sum of those two. And then we do plus what? Plus V again, right? So we add in V, right? We add in that V, right? And then we put a semicolon in there, and so forth, right? D2 now is equal to A times D1, right? D2, I'm sorry, C underscore 2 is going to be equal to, A times D times D1, right? Times D underscore 1, right? And I gotta put plus V. Again, V is getting added to every single one of them. Why? Because that's what it is. E is just adding, it's getting added to the sum of that too. Right? So it's weird. D underscore 2. Okay. And then Z underscore 3 is equal to, again, A times the next value, which is this is D underscore 2 times D underscore 2, right? So, and then of course, I gotta add a plus B and so forth. And of course, semicolon. And then right here, now we can and comment that, and we can say the value of I have to do z1. Oops, c underscore c_1, z_1. That's goofy, right? And then I go so c. Oops. Okay, so let's get c underscore 2 and underscore 3. Okay, so now you can see that this is only to output one iteration. So with that being said, we will have to, and then of course, just to run this, I will do it like this, but then I'll have to put a system pause over here to pause the values in order to enter the rest. Okay, so enter the value of A. So A is 2, V is 3. Okay, so it's popping out like that, right? The question is, why is it popping out like that? Well, obviously because I put it 3 times, right? Um, I was supposed to put it only one, right? Okay, now what I can do is the following. So what I can do is the following. So right here, I can just copy. Um, what? Just clear this for a moment. I will put a system pause here. System pause. System system. Right inside here, I put pause. And that is going to pause the system for entering another value. It will not close the window. That's what it's saying. Now, now I will have to put the whole copy this whole thing again and change the value of this of the C out. That's it. That's all I need to do. So we can do that. So let's do this. So after the system pause, I will take all of this, up to there. Control C, and then paste it over here after the system pause. And then we change that to a C2, right? And then we do system pause again. We do system pause, Control C, oops, Control C, and then we do right here, Control V, and then I put all of this up to there, and say Control. Okay. Nope. Control C, Control V, right? And you put that 3, 3, right? And so forth. Okay, so let's run it. And hopefully the system poses there. If not, we can get it. So let's debug. Start without debugging. So enter the first value. A, B, right? 13, right? And then when I press enter, right, the other will pop up. And I will say 6 and no, it was 4. Oops, it was 4. But anyway, so let's it's 4. But anyway, so this is not gonna work. Let me just do it again. Okay, let me just, because it's going to give me a number, but it's going to be probably not the right number. Let's see. It was 26, right? It does the math, but not necessarily the right thing. Okay, so let's do 8 and 9, right? And 145. But anyway, so let's start over again. Run it. So let's do the first values as we notice, right? It's supposed to be 4 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, right? So 2 and 2, sorry, 2 and 3, right? Enter. And then 4, right? And 5, 41, right? And then enter. And then, I mean, over here, I mean, it's going to be 85 if I put 7 and 8, 7 and 9. It's a 7 and 8. Okay, wait a second. See, this is not right. So basically, and the reason why, because you have to put the numbers. I mean, they give you an answer. They still give you an answer and check this whether it's even or odd. But let's say, for example, if I do for this value, this specific one, I do 8, I do 7. No, I do 6, and I do 7. Right? It's 85. That's exactly what it is here. Right? Now, in the next one, I put 8 and 9. And it's 145. Exactly. Yep. Like I said, what it does is this program is just check whether it's even if it's odd. However, it has to be graded at the value that we assign to. If it's not graded from the value that we assign to, then it's going to be an error. So this is the basic program. I mean, not this is not too basic. It's just a little tedious, but yeah. So it's a little basically interesting little problem to play with, and this is the video for this um that I done today. I'm sorry that went a little longer, but unexpected. But yeah, hopefully you learned something. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.